Welcome to the Matt McKeever Show. Yeah, I know it's been way too long for this. You've been waiting way too long for this episode. My bad. Let's just move past it and get into today's show. In today's show, we're going to be looking at Vice News trying out the FIRE movement lifestyle. Could a Vice reporter live off of 50% of their income? Yeah, no big surprise. They sucked at it. But there's probably reasons for that. The next story we're going to talk about is LeanFIRE is more than just LeanFIRE. We're also going to discuss different ways you can get in contact with Mr. Money Mustache or myself, and you guys need to do more networking. That and a lot more in today's episode. In today's first story, we're going to look at a Vice news article. This news article was focused on a reporter from Vice trying out the financial independence retired early lifestyle for a single month. Now, this is Vice News, so no big surprise there. They didn't really give us a fair shake. And this is the problem with a lot of people that want to try out financial independence, the retired early lifestyle, for just a month or two. They're not in a position, they're not committed enough where they're going to make real lifestyle changes. So what ends up happening is they just try and sacrifice and scrimp and live the exact same lifestyle just with less money without trying to find any alternatives or figure out ways to get similar type experiences for way less money. So this Vice reporter, based upon the article they wrote, it's very clear a big part of their socializing and their ability to have fun comes down to drinking and going out to bars and clubbing and all that. And so if you're not going to change your lifestyle, yeah, it's really hard to live the exact same lifestyle on less money. You need to find alternatives. So in this case, maybe you invite people over to your place and you have a case of beer or a bottle of scotch there, rather than always going out and meeting people at the bar. But again, the problem is the financial independence retired early lifestyle, this saving 50% or more of your income. You need to really commit to it if you want to achieve it and find a sustainable way to implement it in your life. Trying it just for 1 month isn't going to give you the right results. As we've talked about on my YouTube channel, the average person spends 40%-ish of their income on shelter. So that's just their housing, their utilities, kind of all the basic needs there. If you can find a way to house hack, to rent hack, to Airbnb hack, and all of a sudden reduce your shelter costs to ideally zero, immediately you're almost able to save 50% of your income right then and there with this one life hack. So that's the real issue with people like this Vice reporter that are going to try it out just for a single month. They're not actually going to change their living situation. They're not going to start taking on more roommates or start Airbnb-ing their apartment just for a single month. So what ends up happening is they live like a hobbit. They just like stay at home, they never leave, and they live like a hermit. So the problem when people try out financial independence retiring early for just like a month or two, like this Vice reporter did, is they end up living like a hermit. They just don't go out, they don't have fun, and they don't find cheap substitutes. So there's amazing different options for us if we're focused on financial independence retiring early to still have fun. There's all kinds of free concerts, there's libraries. I'm not even going to get into a giant list of things for you guys. You're clever enough to look it up on Reddit or the Mr. Money Mustache forums or the Early Retirement Extreme forums or even the London on Fire forums. If you guys haven't been checking out our meetup group, London on Fire, I recommend you jump over there. We have an amazing Facebook group with just a great community of people that are all sharing their experiences, their stories, and it's a sales-free zone. So please don't come and just push your mutual funds. But I think we all know if we've spent any time seriously considering the financial independence retired early lifestyle, we know that you don't need to spend a ton of money to have fun. There's all kinds of alternatives. My personal favorites involve things like playing board games and inviting friends over to my house to play board games. Or these days, creating content. Honestly, this is much funner for me than simply passively consuming content or going out and spending tons of money to passively consume content. But that's just my opinion. I'd love for you guys to jump in the comment section down below and share with your fellow viewers, how do you guys save money? How are you able to have your entertainment and yet still not spend all your money on it? Do you still go out to the bars? Do you still go clubbing? Do you pre-drink? Do you have people over? Let's share in the comment section down below, because sharing is caring. The next thing I want to share with you guys is actually a post from the LeanFIRE forums. And essentially, it's actually quite simple, but when you think about it, it means a lot. And that simply is, LeanFIRE is more than just about LeanFIRE. Yeah, that sounds like one of those cliche things to say, but I found it to be so true. So LeanFIRE, figuring out a way to meet your financial needs at the very bare minimum, you know, really cutting back on your expenses, cutting them to the bone, is really powerful for a multitude of reasons. One, in my opinion, is it simply makes you more aware of what you're capable of and really helps you understand what is a true sacrifice versus what is just kind of like a nice to have. And there's a huge difference between our needs and our wants. And that to me is essentially all that LeanFIRE is about, is understanding your needs versus your wants. Beyond that, it's about just a mindset, knowing that worst case scenario, you have your financial basis covered. So if you've hit LeanFIRE, but maybe you're still actually going out and trying to achieve a FatFIRE, which is a much more bloated spending or a much more expensive lifestyle, there's nothing wrong with that. But what's great about if you know you've hit LeanFIRE and you know you could survive on LeanFIRE is the fact that now everything becomes an active choice. You're consciously consuming everything from this point forward, in my opinion. Anyways, I just thought it was a great post. There'll be a link to the Reddit post down below in the video description. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. Do you know what your LeanFIRE number is? And if so, share in the comment section, because I'm really curious. I also wanted to share with you guys a recent Mr. Money Mustache post. And so in this post, he actually highlights 4 different ways that you guys can contact or hang out with him. Number 1, that's amazing, that's awesome. Number 2, I just thought it was a great perspective he shared on how a lot of the financial independence, retired early gurus or leaders or mentors or whatever you want to call them, the influencers in this space, they can be so much more collaborative than a lot of other guru-oriented industries. And the reason for that is like all the information's just out there and for free, so they're not really charging a lot of money, so they don't have a reason to not support each other. Just like ChooseFI. ChooseFI is an amazing podcast and has a great community, and actually there's been meetup groups kind of sparking up all across North America. Mr. Money Mustache, obviously you guys know I'm a big fan, but in addition there's all kinds of Mr. Money Mustache meetups all across North America. And then there's communities like London on Fire. London on Fire right now is mainly a one-off community, but we've recently just expanded into Toronto. If you guys are interested in learning more about, I think it's called the 6 on Fire or the 416 on Fire, I'll throw a link in the video description down below. But if you guys don't have a ChooseFI or Mr. Money Mustache or London on Fire in your community, in your city, why not just start it? Be the flag bearer. Honestly, all you need to do is go on to the Mr. Money Mustache forums, post on London on Fire, post on ChooseFI, and tell people, hey, there's currently not a meetup group in my city, in my community, focused on financial independence. I kind of want to correct that. How about we all meet up at this local bar, this local restaurant, this local community center, whatever. It doesn't need to cost you any money, but let's just do it. Seriously, guys, just go do it. Go check out your local FIRE meetup. If you don't have a local FIRE meetup, start it. Even if it's just in your garage with 2 of your buddies and you guys talk about how you're going to take over the world through real estate investing, I recommend you start doing it today. Another thing that's so cool that Mr. Money Mustache is doing that we're kind of mimicking in a different way here in London is he's got his MMM HQ. So Mr. Money Mustache actually has a building in, I believe, Boulder, Colorado, where essentially just like, you know, all these crazy entrepreneurs, firees, anyone that's following the Mr. Money Mustache philosophy can kind of come and make a pilgrimage to his HQ. And that kind of made me want to mention to you guys, we've done the same thing here in London. So right now, myself and Jeff Weibel, we've rented out the Mastermind mansion. And so it's essentially just that. It's a new build, 3,000 square foot home we've rented out that we're turning into just this neat collaborative meetup space. It's all kinds of crazy things going on. If you're interested in finding more about it, I'll have a link in the video description down below. But in addition, Mike Rosehart here in London is doing his own thing with, he has his mentee house. And again, at the end of the day, I just want to highlight for you guys, you know, the only way these crazy things happen, like having a FIRE meetup in your community or having like a Mr. Money Mustache headquarters or a Mastermind mansion or a mentee house, is by just going out and doing it. No one's going to give you permission to be successful. No one's going to give you permission to go be crazy. So just go do it and don't worry about getting permission. Trust me, it's worked out for myself. It's worked out well for Pete, Mr. Money Mustache. It's working out well for Michael Rosehart. It's working out well for all the entrepreneurs I know. So I recommend you guys, just like the commercials say, just do it. Just do it! One article I wanted to share with you guys that I just found kind of funny was a Financial Post article. And so it was focused on a young couple trying to figure out whether they'd be able to hit their retirement goals with a $1,000 a month golf habit. Now, a lot of us in the LeanFIRE or the financial independence retired early community, we're probably going to want to get our pitchforks out about right now, because $1,000 a month for golf sounds asinine when other people like Jacob from Early Retirement Extreme can literally live off of that entire amount every month. So, are these people crazy? Is there anything wrong with having an expensive golf habit? Well, in my opinion, it just comes down to really being conscious of your consumption. So do you really understand the trade-off that's involved by that $1,000 a month golf habit? Say, for example, we're going to use something like the 4% safe withdrawal rate. What that means is you're essentially going to need 300 times that monthly expense if you want to just be able to pay for that indefinitely. So that $1,000 a month golf habit is going to cost you $300,000. Now, is there a way you can maybe cut it down to $500 a month? Maybe do you join a less prestigious golf club? Maybe do you rotate where you play golf? Maybe do you reduce the type of clubs you're using or the travel involved to go play golf? Because all of a sudden, by reducing it to $500 a month, you now only need $150,000 in savings to support that golf habit. That's a massive difference. So just food for thought. Again, at the end of the day, if it's adding true value to your life and you're actively conscious of that consumption, I don't have an issue with it, and I don't think anyone else should have an issue with it. It's when you're unconsciously just mindlessly consuming, when you're just like a consumer zombie. I think that's when most of us in the financial independence retired early community, that's when we start getting our pitchforks. I also wanted to share with you guys a Financial Samurai article. And so I just love the title of the article, which was Never Lose Money. And as an investor or an entrepreneur, that's a great rule to keep in mind. And it's something that personally, once I got to LeanFIRE, it really gave me the support to kind of go be crazy and gamble on weird entrepreneurial endeavors, like pretty much everything I'm doing on YouTube and everything you guys see I'm up to. But what's great about LeanFIRE is it allows me to just focus on trying to create break-even businesses. So I don't necessarily have to focus on making a ton of money because I don't need to worry about paying myself to live. And so from my perspective, it just really mitigates or reduces the risk of being an entrepreneur. Whereas if you try and become an entrepreneur without LeanFIRE, without already having your financial base or your fortress of solitude in place, then you're constantly going to be worried about your next paycheck. How are you going to pay to live? How are you going to pay to survive? So once you get to that LeanFIRE number, all of a sudden you can start being more creative and more risk-oriented and start doing crazy things like Mr. Money Mustache is doing in Colorado, or like we're doing here in London, Ontario with the Mastermind Mansion. As well, in today's show, I wanted to share with you an article or an essay from the Mises Institute, written by Ludwig von Mises himself. It's an amazing article on the difference between entrepreneurs and managers. Let's dive into it. So, when Ludwig von Mises noted that a manager is a junior partner of the entrepreneur, he did not mean to downplay the role of management in the economy. On the contrary, he wanted to make clear how the economic functions are different yet related. From the point of view of the economic system, how the market works, entrepreneurship is, according to Mises, the uncertainty bearing of enterprise. Entrepreneurs allocate scarce productive resources between different types of production, many of which are not yet in existence. The bearing of uncertainty means simply that you're committing resources which have multiple valuable uses to specific production processes. If that decision is wrong, you suffer a loss. If the decision is better than most, you earn a profit. Thus, the entrepreneur's only function in the economy is to find better uses for resources, which means she needs to figure out how resources can create the most value for consumers. In this sense, entrepreneurship takes on the role of central planner, but in a decentralized, distributed fashion. In other words, entrepreneurs collectively produce a division of intellectual labor with respect to the allocation of productive resources in the economy overall. Okay, so essentially, I just kind of wanted to highlight this. It's a great breakdown of really what the difference is between an entrepreneur and a manager. And it's something I've seen personally. Lots of people that are great managers think that they'll excel as an entrepreneur and fail. And a lot of entrepreneurs think that as they grow their business, why can't they also manage it? And then they start to struggle with the management. They're two very different but interrelated processes or systems in a business. And I just thought this was a great article. I'm a huge fanboy of the Mises Institute, so if you guys haven't checked it out, I recommend you jump over there. Feel free to check out all the amazing free resources they have, and don't be afraid to learn more about libertarianism. But again, I'm a little biased. I don't know, this was either a really great episode or a really terrible episode. I have no idea. If you guys would jump in the comment section down below, and let me know, was this good? Was it bad? Do you like the first one more? Do you like this one more? I'm not really sure what I'm doing with this stuff. So that's it for this episode of the Matt McKeever Show. If you guys enjoyed the show, if you like what I'm doing, if you want to support me, the bare minimum is smashing that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and otherwise, go to a local meetup, guys. Honestly, start surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're maybe getting sick of me saying that, but it's not any less true each time I say it. So go out there, like Gary Vee said, drop a loser friend, upgrade a friend. Honestly, make life easy on yourself by surrounding yourself with driven individuals that are on the same page as you. It's so much better. Anyways, until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks, guys.